You can hear the gunshots.
As bullets fly, shackled detainees run, then crawl for cover.
3 detainees were shot at this Dallas ICE facility on Wednesday. 1 died, 2 are in critical condition.
The sound of automatic gunfire echoed through the halls of a Dallas detention center. Detainees dove to the ground, guards scrambled, and chaos erupted. But this wasn't a prison riot. It was something far more shocking, an armed attack on an ICE facility itself. 1 detainee lay dead, others were critically wounded, and the question everyone was asking was simple. How could this happen inside a government-run facility designed to keep people secure? Section 1, the night of the attack. On the evening of September 24th, 2025, a gunman opened fire at an Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention center in Dallas, Texas. What should have been an ordinary night inside the facility became a war zone. Reports say the shooter sprayed bullets indiscriminately, striking detainees who had no way to defend themselves. Correctional staff, many unarmed, tried desperately to contain the chaos. By the time the gunfire stopped, 1 detainee was dead, several more were clinging to life. But the violence inside that building raised a deeper question. How could an attack like this even be possible? Section 2. What makes ICE detention different from prison? To understand the answer, you first have to know the difference between prison and detention. Prisons are designed for convicted criminals. Maximum security facilities are fortresses, reinforced walls, armed guards, layers of security. But ICE detention centers, they're different. The people inside aren't convicted criminals, they're immigrants, many awaiting hearings, appeals, or deportation. And because of that civil status, detention centers are often funded and operated differently than prisons. Fewer armed officers, lower grade infrastructure, less training for staff. The Dallas attack showed the consequences of these weaknesses in the most brutal way possible. But this wasn't the first time violence erupted inside a facility meant to hold people, not punish them. Section 3. Previous attacks on detention and prisons. If you look back, there have been chillingly similar events. In 2019, a man armed with a rifle.
A man armed with a rifle has been shot by the police after attacking an immigration detention center in the U.S. state of Washington.
And incendiary devices attacked an ICE detention facility in Tacoma, Washington. He was killed by police, but not before demonstrating how vulnerable these sites are. And across the prison system, history is full of uprisings, riots, and shootings where weak points in security became catastrophic. The lesson? Detention centers are softer targets than prisons, and attackers know it. But that leads to the next question. Who would target an ICE detention center, and why? Section 4. Who was the shooter? The gunman has been identified as Joshua John, 29, of Fairview, Texas. Armed with an 8mm bolt-action rifle he had legally purchased just weeks before, John climbed to a rooftop overlooking the ICE detention center. From there, he opened fire on a transport van inside the Sally Port, killing 1 detainee and critically injuring 2 others. When authorities reached him, John was already dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But investigators soon discovered this was no random act. Shell casings left behind carried the inscription "Anti-ICE." On John's devices, agents uncovered lists of ICE facilities, tracking data of ICE agents, and evidence of extensive planning. A handwritten note revealed his intent to instill terror in ICE and its agents.
Intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel and to maximize property damage at the facility.
The top federal prosecutor in North Texas says it appears he did not intend to harm detainees, despite shooting 3 of them.
He also hoped his actions would give ICE agents real terror.
For now, the FBI believes John acted alone. He was not linked to any known extremist group, but the attack is being treated as a politically motivated act. The Department of Homeland Security has since announced that security at ICE offices nationwide will be increased, a move that underscores how this single act of violence has shaken the agency. Section 5. Immigration, crime, and politics collide. Immigration enforcement sits right at the crossroads of law and politics. To supporters, ICE facilities are a line of defense against illegal entry and crime. To critics, they're humanitarian disasters, places where people are caged for seeking a better life. So when an attack like the Dallas shooting happens, both sides react. For some, it's proof these centers are unsafe for detainees and staff alike. For others, it's a reason to double down on stricter enforcement. But for the people locked inside those walls, the politics didn't matter. They were the ones who felt the bullets. Section 6. Life inside ICE detention. Life inside ICE detention was already harsh long before the attack. Overcrowded dorms, reports of medical neglect, long waits for hearings that sometimes stretch into years. Unlike prisoners, ICE detainees don't know when or if they'll be released. And on September 24th, they learned something else. Their safety is never guaranteed. Imagine sitting in a locked room, unarmed, when a gunman storms in. You have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. For detainees in Dallas, the attack wasn't just about immigration, it was about survival. Section 7. What this means for the future of detention and prisons. The aftermath of the Dallas shooting is already sending ripples through America's detention and prison systems. Security protocols are being reviewed. Armed guard presence may increase. Facilities could see more militarized protections. But that raises a troubling question. Should civil detainees be treated like hardened convicts? The more ICE detention begins to look like a prison, the blurrier the line becomes between civil custody and criminal incarceration. And as the U.S. struggles to decide how to handle immigration, detention, and incarceration, one fact remains. When bullets tear through bars, no one on either side of the walls is truly safe. Conclusion. The Dallas ICE facility shooting wasn't just another crime. It was a warning shot, exposing the fragile line between detention and prison, between custody and chaos. For the detainees who lived through it, for the families who lost loved ones, and for the guards who risked everything to contain the bloodshed, the scars will last long after the headlines fade. And as the system braces for the next attack, one truth is impossible to ignore. America's detention centers were never built for war. But on that September night in Dallas, that's exactly what they became. If you found this information thought-provoking and you want to explore more documentaries on how crime, justice, and society collide, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There are many more hidden stories waiting to be uncovered.